The day felt heavy, like a gray cloud resting on my chest. I woke up with quiet fear, not the kind that shouts, but the kind that sits silently inside. I sat at the edge of my bed. My breath was unsteady. My hands were cold. My heart felt tired. I could not pretend I was fine. Why am I so afraid today? The answer did not come. It only moved like a soft wave inside me. For many days, I pushed myself. I worked when my mind asked for rest. I smiled when my heart needed silence. Slowly, the weight grew. Burnout arrived quietly. Sadness dimmed my world. I had to stop working. My mind felt empty. My body felt weak. My spirit felt thin, like paper left in the rain. When I paused to breathe, a new fear appeared. The fear of money, the fear of living, the fear of tomorrow. I looked at the bills on the table. Cold worry climbed up my spine. How will I survive? How will I stand again? The future felt dark and wide. Maybe you know this feeling. Life feels too large sometimes, too fast, too heavy, too sharp to touch. If you feel this, you are not weak. You are human. Humans fear sudden change. Humans fear lost hopes. Humans fear running out of strength. A voice inside me said, "Give up. You are falling behind. You will not rise again." Fear speaks loudly when we are tired, but something else happened. I remembered a psychologist's voice. His name is Jordan Peterson. He says anxiety grows when we run from life. Fear becomes bigger when we look away, but smaller when we face it gently. Start with small things, he said. Create one tiny piece of order, and chaos will shrink. His words stayed with me. He did not ask for perfection. He did not ask for big change. He simply said to breathe and to start small. I looked at my room. It was messy, like my mind. I picked up one book and placed it gently on the table. A tiny action, but my heart softened. Fear stepped back 1 inch. Jordan Peterson says fear is a shadow. It grows smaller when we walk toward the light. Every small action becomes that light. His words echoed inside me. Face what you fear slowly. Face it gently. Face it piece by piece, and you will grow stronger. The morning was still gray, but something inside shifted, like a heartbeat remembering its courage, and I understood. I am not alone in this fear. Many people feel the same weight. Many people face quiet fear. Many people wonder how to continue living. If your heart is tired today, remember this. Your fear is not the end. It is a beginning. A quiet call toward strength. Strength that grows slowly. Strength built step by step. Strength waiting inside you. And this is where our story begins. I sat quietly, feeling the weight of my fear, feeling the long road ahead of me. I did not know where my life was going. I did not know how to begin again. The future felt like a large, empty room, a room with no door and no window. Then a soft thought came to me, a thought a little warmer than the rest. What if my fear is not failure? What if it is a sign of change, a sign that I am ready to grow again? Jordan Peterson often says we become stronger when we move toward the things we fear. He says fear shrinks when we take even one small step. So I asked myself, what is one small thing I can do today? Not a big thing, not a perfect thing, just one small thing to bring a little order into my life. I looked around my room again, clothes on the chair, papers on the floor, a cup with yesterday's tea. Everything looked like my tired mind, but I remembered his words. When life feels too big, make something small. So I folded one shirt, just one. I placed it neatly on the shelf. Then I threw away the cold tea. These tiny actions did not solve my problems. They did not fix my future, but they created a small island of calm, a small island inside a big storm. Sometimes that is enough to continue. I sat down again. I let myself breathe. A slow breath in, a slow breath out. My fear stayed with me, but it no longer controlled everything. Jordan Peterson says that when we face chaos, we should not run. We should not freeze. We should not collapse. We should begin with something small, the smallest piece we can handle, and that small piece becomes the seed of courage. I thought about my life, the burnout, the sadness, the money worries, the fear of the future. They all felt huge, much too huge for one person. But if I could take one small step today, maybe tomorrow I could take another. And maybe one day, those small steps would become a path. I looked at my reflection in the window. My face looked tired, but there was something else. A quiet strength I had forgotten. A strength that comes from surviving hard days. A strength that comes from falling and rising again. A strength that comes from trying, even when life hurts. Maybe you have felt this too. Maybe you have lived through long nights. Maybe you have cried quietly, hoping no one would hear. Maybe you have wondered how you will continue. If so, hear this clearly. You are stronger than you think. Your fear is not a sign to stop. It is a sign that you are standing at the edge of your next chapter. A chapter that begins slowly, with one small action, one small breath, one small piece of order. I placed my hand on my chest. I felt my heartbeat, slow but steady, tired but alive. And in that gentle rhythm, I heard a quiet truth. I can try again, not with force, not with perfection, but with softness, with patience, with the belief that small things can carry us forward. This was the moment I began to rise, very slowly, back into my own life. As I sat with my thoughts, a quiet understanding began to grow inside me. Nothing in my life had changed, yet something in me felt different. I realized that fear was not my enemy. Fear was a signal, a sign that my life needed attention, not avoidance. Jordan Peterson explains that our minds become calmer when we bring even a small amount of order into our world. Not because the order is big, but because we created it. We acted. We moved. We decided that chaos would not win today. He says that meaning comes from taking responsibility for the smallest part of your life that you can truly manage. And with that responsibility comes strength, a strength we often forget we have. I looked at my messy desk. It still felt overwhelming, but I remembered his idea. Start with what you can fix, not with what you cannot. So I chose one corner, just one. I cleaned the dust, I organized a few papers. It took only a few minutes, but it gave me a strange feeling, a feeling of control in a place where I had felt powerless. Fear did not leave me. It stayed, but it stayed quietly. It no longer shouted. It simply watched as I made tiny decisions to rebuild my life. And this taught me something important. Healing does not arrive all at once. Healing arrives in moments. Moments when we decide to turn toward life instead of turning away. Jordan Peterson says that every person carries chaos, but also carries the ability to shape that chaos into something meaningful. Meaning is not found. Meaning is created through effort, through honesty, through small acts of courage. I thought about my worries again, my burnout, my sadness, my fear of money, my fear of the future. All of them were still real. All of them were still heavy, but I no longer felt helpless because I understood this. I do not need to fix everything today. I only need to make my world one small step better than yesterday. I placed my hand on the table, feeling its solid surface. It reminded me that life, even when painful, is still real, still here, still offering me a chance to try again. And for the first time in a long while, I felt a small spark of hope. Not loud, not bright, but steady. A hope that whispered, "You can build your life again." One small piece at a time. The next days were still hard, but something in me had changed. I no longer tried to fix everything at once. I let myself take life slowly, softly, gently. Courage grows with honesty, Jordan Peterson says. Not all at once, but in small pieces. So I became honest with myself. Honest about my fear. Honest about my sadness. Honest about the weight I carried. And the more honest I was, the lighter it felt. I kept a small notebook. Each morning I wrote, "What is one thing I can face today?" Some days the answer was simple. Wash the dishes, take a walk, reply to one message, open the window and breathe. Other days the answer was rest, and rest was enough. Rest was courage. Slowly the fog in my mind lifted. A gentle direction appeared. A slow return to myself. My problems remained, but they no longer felt like walls. They felt like doors, doors I could open, one at a time. Our lives expand when we take responsibility for a small step. Then the future feels less frightening and more possible. My life did not end with burnout. It did not end with fear. It did not end when I fell. My life was waiting under it all. Quiet, soft, ready to grow again. Maybe your life is waiting too. If today feels heavy, remember this. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are rebuilding, step by step, breath by breath, moment by moment. Every small action shapes who you become. A person who rises, a person who endures, a person who continues forward, even in the dark. Take one more breath. Feel your heartbeat. It is telling you, you are still here. You are still moving. You can begin again. And as we learn English together today, let us also learn how not to fear a future we cannot see. The future is built by the small things we practice now, the gentle actions we can take today. So repeat with me the words we learned: courage, responsibility, rebuild. Let these words guide you. Let them remind you that doing what you can today is enough. You are learning, you are growing, and you are walking forward in your own quiet way. Courage, the ability to do something even when you feel afraid. Rest was enough. Rest was courage. Responsibility, taking care of something you can control. Our lives expand when we take responsibility for a small step. Rebuild to build something again after it breaks. You are not broken. You are rebuilding. I hope this video brings a little strength into your day. And I hope you remember that even slow steps can lead you forward.